The original NSX was built to take on the top cars out of Italy and Germany, and with a ton of research, some innovative engineering, and a little help from Ayrton Senna himself, that's exactly what they did. It lasted 15 years out in the marketplace with just a few tweaks and alterations over its lifetime, and not only did it become the pride and joy of drivers who knew exactly what they wanted from a car, it also captured the hearts and minds of millions in the pages of magazines, bedroom posters, and video game selector screens. And what a car it was. This one is a 2005, one of the last to roll off the production line, and I've had it all week and it's been so much fun. The handling and performance aren't just great for the time, they still feel amazing today. And it's one of my favorite cars, and I'm sure one of yours as well. But the Honda that we know and loved that made this car seemed to be becoming more and more of a distant memory, instead favoring family saloons and hybrid hatchbacks. Until recently, there's been a couple of indications that that old Honda spirit is coming back. Honda re-entered into Formula One. Last year they brought out a new Civic Type R and it was unbelievable. And this year, 2016, there's a brand new NSX. And this is it. It has an all-new mid-mounted 3.5 litre twin-turbocharged V6 that's good for 500 horses. Beyond that, there is a 48 horsepower electric engine, a 9-speed dual-clutch gearbox, and a further two 37 horsepower electric engines up front. The total power is 573 horses. I know that's not the total of all the engine outputs, but that's just not how it works. If you want to know exactly how they came to that number, I'm sure a very smart person will attempt to explain it in the comments. The electric motor behind the engine acts as torque fill and the starter motor to the internal combustion engine, and the two electric motors at the front assist in torque vectoring to give the car a much sharper turn in. Now, if that kind of combination of electric motors and internal combustion engine sounds familiar, well, you'd be right. That's what the current top crop of hypercars are currently duking it out over to see who's best. But in the supercar market, Honda's kind of out there on their own with this. There's the BMW i8, don't get me wrong, but there the hybridization has been more put in to bring out fuel economy, and it's more shop window for the BMW i3 in that respect. It's a fast car, but it's not as fast as this. 0 to 60 time is sub 3 seconds. Now that's not to be sniffed at. The BMW is far more focused on the electric only driving and high fuel economy though, where the i8 has a small displacement engine and a large electric motor with the ability to drive a decent distance in EV mode only. The NSX's electric motors are purely there to help that 3.5 litre twin turbo perform in a way that a traditionally engineered car simply couldn't. You can pull away from standstill in EV mode, but pretty quickly that internal combustion engine kicks in. This isn't a Prius. You won't be buying this to save the planet. You'll be buying this to have some fun. Now, it's all well and good the NSX having this wonderfully advanced drivetrain, and we appreciate all the technology and research that's going into making all of them work in harmony, but really, how does that translate to the driving experience out on the road? Well, I'm here to tell you that on these twisty mountain roads, it's remarkable. Those two electric motors over those front wheels allow the torque vectoring to be so instantaneous, so precise, that this car can dip into a corner and grip and pull you around in a way that's different to any other car I've driven, but at the same time doesn't feel artificial. And that is a remarkable thing, considering how much is actually going on when I turn into this corner and how quickly I can get back on the power, that it doesn't feel fake, that it doesn't feel otherworldly, too futuristic for its own good. Now, what's even more remarkable than the steering is the brakes. Or rather, it's what's unremarkable about them, because they feel so analog that you forget how much technology is between your foot and the wheels. When I push the pedal, it feels like I'm pushing a really old school brake where everything between my foot and the wheels is mechanically connected, but they are completely disconnected. The really clever part is that the mechanical pressure that I'm feeling under the pedal is being electronically managed based on what it thinks I want it to feel like. And it feels exactly how I want it to feel. But what's more, because that pressure under my foot is being electronically managed, it offsets for anything else that is causing the brakes to react differently. difference in temperature, any kind of fade of any kind, any atmospheric conditions. So whenever I press the pedal a set amount, I always get the same result back. That is amazing. That is how this kind of technology really should work, and one of the most interesting innovations in this car. Now, if I had to mark the NSX down on anything, it would be the cabin. And don't get me wrong, it's a great looking cabin, but it is still a Honda, and that shines through. Some of the touchable materials feel a little bit cheap for a car that costs as much as an Audi R8. And the infotainment system is not quite becoming of something in this price bracket. And the one thing that is the most heinous is the feel of these paddles and the sound they make. I wouldn't even like my bathroom light switch to sound like that. But when you're hooning around mountain roads and you put your foot down and that's the worst thing you can think of, then that is something I can live with. Exterior-wise, the NSX is a good-looking car, well-proportioned, and some great little touches that are as functional as they are pleasing to the eye. Part of the intake at the front, for example, vents out over the wheels to calm the turbulent air coming out of the wheel arches, and hidden vents over the rear lights calm the wake, reducing drag. All amazing touches that do their job amazingly well, but the entire package doesn't feel as unique in the marketplace as its predecessor. It's hard to see how someone would pick this for their bedroom wall over a lot of other cars out there right now. Largely though, you're going to forget all about that as soon as you put your foot down. The large windscreen, much like its predecessor, gives you an incredible view, and some amazing metallurgy has allowed the A-pillars to be extra thin, giving you spectacular vistas of the road ahead. And that road is going to be coming at you pretty quickly. Aesthetics aside, and of course that is as much a personal taste as anything else, the experience that this car has been giving me out on the short blast on these mountain roads is really something. But windy mountain roads aside, there is only one place where you can take a car like this to fully experience everything it has to offer, and we've said it before and I'll say it again, it's time to hit the track. And today's track is Estoril, a 4.2 kilometer circuit and the former home of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Just to make me feel at home, Honda has prepped a car with the steering wheel on the correct side and fitted it with some more track-focused Pirelli Trofeo Rs. I have the whole track to myself and an afternoon of driving ahead. Let's go! What's remarkable is just how confident I immediately feel to really push this car quite a lot. I've done a lot of track days and in a lot of fast cars, and quite often it takes a while for me to get warmed up to the track, get warmed up to the car, to really know where the limits are. And although I'm still far beyond the absolute limits of what this car can take, by a long shot, I have no qualms in absolutely nailing the throttle and hitting these corners pretty damn quickly. You can get on the power so much earlier coming out of a corner than you feel you should. And the brakes, they are good. And this is the great thing, they feel so natural, they feel so real. All these electric motors, all these technologies, all these advancements, they're here to make you go faster. They're not here to hold you back. They're not here to stop you doing what you want to do. They're here so you can have fun. I should, in all honesty, be shifting myself. But as we explored earlier, I'm not a huge fan of the feel of these pedals. And the 9-speed DCT this thing has is amazing. It just does the trick so well. Doesn't matter how many toys they've added, doesn't matter how advanced this is, and this thing is hypercar advanced. You could still get in and drive it like you could drive any old school, naturally aspirated supercar from years gone by and get exactly the same kind of thing out of it. Just nail it up to your braking point. Hard on the brakes. They feel so good. And I think I can in all honesty say I have never driven a track in as much anger with as much freedom. And here's a token of faith that Honda has in their car. They just handed me the keys and they're letting me crack on with it. That's a problem to get it back out. Straight lines are overrated. I'm not wrestling with the car. I'm not exerting so much mental effort trying to second guess the car, figure out how it's going to respond, because I know how it's going to respond. I know that when I nail the brakes here, the car is going to slow down absolutely predictably. And that's not because I'm amazing. That's because the car is amazing. But it gets to a point that you don't really mind. Oh, I don't think I've ever had this much fun in a car. Oh my God. I will freely admit that I'm not even the best driver on the Carfection team. But today in this car, I feel like freaking Superman. The confidence it gives you to just hit it harder and harder and keep going. This thing is amazing. What's truly remarkable about the NSX isn't the hypercar level of engineering that's gone into it, and it has. It isn't how the electric engines fill in the gaps in torque for the internal combustion engine, making it feel sharper and more responsive. It's not how the brakes marry authentic analog feel with digital precision. It's not how the torque vectoring isn't just there to keep you safe, but to get you to lap faster and faster. It isn't even the performance figures, which are impressive but largely just don't matter. It's that all of that is invisible. It fades away the moment you put your foot down, and all you're left with is a car that feels like it does exactly what you tell it to do, no matter what the request. It's as analog a feeling you can get when this car is anything but. The original NSX was a supercar at half the price. This thing just might be a hypercar at 1/10.
Hey, not that long ago, in a land far, far away, a realtor was chained to their office to answer their phone, type out contracts to make an offer, look at a fat book instead of the internet, and send documents by loud, noisy, stinky fax machines. Then came better technology. We can answer the phone from anywhere and make it look like we're in the office, quickly complete fillable forms online, and send documents electronically. Now, let's look at how technology can change real estate and how it's sold in the future. Video is no longer an option, it's mandatory. Apps like BombBomb.com became how we communicate and leave messages for clients so that they can see you in person and feel like they've made contact. Then mobile MLS is in the palm of your hand, like My Theo, alerting buyers about new listings and their price range, areas of interest, and they can tag into their My Tour list. With Matterport, they get 3D layouts of the home that they want to look at, and they can even zoom into every single room with a 360-degree tour and know exactly what's going on there like they were there. Now we have to get them the listing, so we send a self-driven car to pick them up and deliver them to their listing. Sounds far in the future, right? Maybe not. BombBomb, My Theo, Matterport, and similar apps are already here. Self-driven cars are expected to be on the market in 2019. Just go to San Francisco. Google's doing it, and it'll be the norm by 2040. The tech-savvy real estate agents will dominate the market as the younger generations come of age and get into home ownership. It's important for the housing industry to keep up with the technology and even drive it, embrace it along with the generations it serves, or you're going to get left behind. Now, for minding your own business. Speaking about video, let's say you want to give your client a quick update and you know that they're at work, so you don't want to interrupt them and actually talk to them, just leave a message. Using the video on your phone, record your message and send it via text or email to your client like this. Hey Jack, just wanted to let you know that the seller countered your offer and I'd like to get together to talk about and strategize with you. I'm going to be available between 5:30 and 6:30, so let me know and I'll swing by. Hope your day is going well, and hit send. It's personable, it's face-to-face in a matter of speaking, and they don't have to read a text when they're trying to drive or otherwise indisposed. It's efficient for less personal messages. Check out some of the apps like BombBomb that allow you to send your video to a segment or your entire database. Well, that's it for another edition of the Real Estate Insider Weekly. Thanks for watching. We're always here to help you, and have a great day.